Hey everyone, in this clip, by looking up Rumi's works and poems, we're gonna examine how Muslim Rumi really was toward the end of his life, where he's seen as a spiritual figure. Stay with us till the end of the clip. You will be surprised. Before we dive into anything, we have to know one fact that everyone accepts, or at least should accept, and that is that Rumi was an Islamic cleric who knew Quran and Islamic teachings, laws, and rituals very well. In fact, Rumi was actually a mullah who made a living using his Islamic knowledge, by being a judge or giving sermons. But then something amazing happens to Rumi and he meets his spiritual mentor, Shams, that completely changes his view of the life, religion, and the world. And basically, the new Rumi we all know today rejuvenates. So what particularly Shams did to Rumi was to shift his focus from the surface and cover of Islam, which is its laws and rituals, to the core and essence of Islam or any religion, which is the unity of being, not only unity of deity. And that unity is actually both the climax and base of spirituality. So Rumi was definitely a figure raised by Islamic teachings and the Quran. He even compares his own book, Masnavi Manavi, also known as spiritual rhymes with the Quran, in the book One's Prologue, which we covered before. In this prologue and throughout the Masnavi, Rumi directly and indirectly uses excerpts from the Quran, and he basically explains the ethical and spiritual meanings of them. Rumi also has so many verses in praise of Muhammad. One of them, which is Masnavi, goes like this: The name of Ahmad is the name of all the prophets. When the 100 comes, 90 is with us as well. Ahmad is a nickname of Prophet Muhammad, and think of the numbers 190 as a grade of spirituality. So Rumi basically says the grade of Muhammad is 100. So by considering Muhammad as a spiritual guide, you need no other spiritual figure. But you have to pay heed that Rumi's books in general contain so many lessons and educational stories from Abraham, Noah, Moses, and Jesus. And especially in case of Jesus, Rumi indirectly praised all these prophets too. The water and clay, when it fed on the breath of Jesus, spread wings and pinions, became a bird and flew. Though you can argue that the breath of Jesus here is a representation of the breeze of spirituality that can give humans wings and help them fly to the higher versions of themselves. But still, it demonstrates Rumi's favor towards Jesus' spiritual power. Moreover, there are some proven footprints of Buddhism in Sufism that you may not be able to easily extract from the Quran or other Islamic teachings, especially when it comes to their methodology. In both of them, meaning Sufism and Buddhism, they encourage their followers to experiment cycles of pain and gain, in which you commit an action or some kind of behavior that will lead to pain, and then out of that you gain or learn an ethical or spiritual lesson. And then after so many experiments you reach the final desired state, which you lose the physical sense of your self-existence and your corporal desires. This state in Buddhism is called nirvana, and in Sufism is called fana, which means annihilation. In the second fable of the Masnavi, Rumi narrates a story which concludes that all religions are just a different color of one concept, and that is spirituality. And he also condemns any bigotry towards any religion. Therefore, he considers all religions as different tools with different forms to reach spirituality. Hopefully, we will get to that part in our multiple series of interpreting Masnavi. So here I open a bracket. If you want to follow those series, you can start here, which I even covered the prologue of the Masnavi. Masnavi is the most famous book of Rumi, in which he teaches all his major concepts of spirituality. Moreover, there is a poem attributed to Rumi because of its writing style and also the usage of the word Shams, Rumi's mentor, in which he clearly states that he accepts no label on himself. What is to be done, O Muslims? For I do not know myself. I am neither Christian nor Jew nor Magian. nor Muslim. I'm not of the East, nor of the West, nor of the land, nor of the sea. I'm not from India, nor China, nor Bulgaria, nor Turkestan. I'm not from the kingdom of the two Iraqs, nor from the earth of Khorasan. So here he even defines his motherland as a label on him, which is Khorasan. And in the end, he says, "Oh, Shams of Tabriz, I'm so drunk in this world that other than drunkenness and revelry, nothing can cure me." I gotta open a footnote here, and that is to mention that this poem is not in the early original version of Shams' works, but in some older versions, this poem was mentioned. Also, apparently, Reynold Nicholson has translated this poem as Rumi's in his works. Shams' works is another poetry book of Rumi's, which he dedicated to his mystical master Shams. And one more point is that if you guys remember in Reed Flute's notes of the Masnavi, where Rumi basically lays down the fundamentals of his mystical knowledge, he told us, "Listening to this wit needs no perception as the ear listens to a new lesson." So in this verse, he asked us to leave all our judgments, perceptions, and presumptions aside so that we can understand his wit or wisdom. And I am a Muslim or I am a Christian is a presumption. So you have to empty your brain from any previous knowledge, especially the religious ideas, to understand Rumi's wit or wisdom. So in the end, to answer the question, was Rumi a Muslim? The answer is yes and no. Yes, because he was born a Muslim. He was raised as a Muslim, and he was taught and affected by Islamic and Quranic teachings. He felt a spiritual connection with Prophet Muhammad, and he appreciated his mystical knowledge so many times. The same way that more or less he felt about Jesus and all other prophets. And he does see religious teachings in all religions as a very effective tool to reach the climax of divine knowledge, if not seeing them necessary. Yes, Rumi did use religions, especially Islam, to progress spiritually, but like he did mention in so many different ways, directly and indirectly, in the form of poems or fables. He believes religions are just a tool to provide a higher purpose than just being a strict and exclusive follower of any particular religion. Like, did Rumi believe he has to obey any single rule of Islam that may make no sense? Like, did Rumi absolutely believe that we have to cut the fingers of a thief? No, I don't think so. Did he believe that you have to beat up your wife when she keeps disrespecting you? Again, I don't believe so. And that higher purpose I just talked about is deeply sensing the oneness of all the universe and knowing yourself as an integrated part of that, in a way that in the spiritual world there are no borders, labels, forms, shapes, numbers, grades, or stereotypes other than one united spirit. You can think of Rumi as a spiritual cosmopolitan. I hope all that came out clear enough for you guys to deeply feel and share the oneness among us. Please like, share, and subscribe, and that will encourage me to make more clips like this in the near future. And in the end, take it easy and stay spiritual.